Rahman. I'm a lecturer in a public university in Kenya. I deliver lecture in computing and informatics. Today, I'm going to take you into a journey of about 10 minutes to answer a question: what are high-level programming language? So let's start. In today's lesson, basically, we can see here that high-level language are divided into three, acronym as 3GL, that is third generation language, 4GL, fourth generation language, and 5GL, fifth generation language. Let's start up with the first one, that is third generation language. Basically, it is what we call procedural oriented language. So the procedural oriented programming language, it is basically, as we discussed earlier, that it has machine independency, and we had seen machine independent, we mean that a program or a language actually can be written in any architect of a computer. And in our previous lesson, we talked about the Flynn's classification, where we had four types: the sysd, the simd, the misd, and the mimd. And all of them actually work as a 3D. And basically, these 3G high-level languages, they are used basically for general purposes. So their problems can be for any other purposes. So if a programmer wants to program any program on any general purpose, like computing or solving any problem, then this will be a suitable one. And the example of 3G, they are the basic computer languages like C, C++, Java, C#, and many more. But as we have said that in a previous lesson, these particular programs, they need what you call compilers or converters. We have seen that in our last series of some programs, that compilers or converter are needed when a programmer has written up a program in either of this particular language to be converted into binary system, that is 0 and 1, which are predefined and they can communicate with a computer. Now, let's take up further and see what are the types of 3G computers or 3G programming languages. Seriously, there are around 4 types, and there are different classification. For me, I'll just discuss the 4 types. And the first type here, we're talking about the event-driven programming. The event-driven programming, they are meant whereby a user, when he actually does a particular task, like clicking up a mouse, dragging up a mouse of a particular object, then some instructions are fired automatically. So those will be those will be driven, data-driven programs. Number 2, we are talking about object-oriented programming. Object-oriented programming, they use up a concept of objects and classes, whereby programmer actually instantiate a particular object and try to manipulate it in different concepts. So those are the types of 3G concepts. Number 3 is what you say visual programming. Visual programming, there are different examples. This could be Visual Basic or Visual Basic, even Java. They use visual programming, and basically they use what you call graphical user interface. And in graphical user interface, basically here we are talking about manipulation of GUI elements such as a form, such as a button, and within that particular button, you don't have to write some code of a particular button or particular form. You just drag and drop it into a canvas, and actually you try to make that particular button to do a particular task. And the fourth one, we are talking about markup languages. The markup languages, or what you call, they are used to develop web pages. So the fourth one was a markup languages, and they are used to develop web pages, and web pages are used into the internet. So that is actually what is the 3G programming or procedural oriented programming. Let's go to the second type, which is called the 4G. 4G, it is problem oriented. Now, why are we calling it problem oriented programming? It's because they are specific. They are specific to do a particular task. And here a user is, or a user of this particular program, a user of this particular programming language does not have to write a program. Because we have seen in our previous lessons that for us to communicate with a computer, we must write a program. But here, a user does not actually have to write up a program. Why? Because they are predefined programs. These particular predefined programs, they are there, and he has just to enter a particular command in order to achieve a particular task. For example, if you take up MS Office, or per se MS Word, in MS Word, if you want to print up a document, you don't have to write a whole program how to print up a document. You just go to a particular button or particular menu and click up print, and in that particular command, all the code, they are already pre-programmed in that particular area. So it's very important to understand how they actually work. So these are what you call application software. They lie down in 4G programming language. Example of the types of 4G programming languages, basically they are divided into two, and this basically what you call table driven. The table driven, these actually programs which they use frameworks such as frameworks like WordPress, whereby you don't have to write any code, so they are actually codeless. We just change up a few parameters, properties, in order to achieve a particular task. Number two, we are talking about data management. In data management, here basically in this particular softwares is whereby a user just provides up data, and that particular data can be managed and manipulated to do various tasks. For example, we have got like SPSS, SAS, R. In this particular programs, they are actually statistical programs, and these particular statistical programs actually they can do different types of tasks without you knowing formulas or knowing the concept behind any statistics, and give you up wonderful results. So that is some it is what we call a 4G high level programming language, which is called problem oriented. Let's go to the third one. The third one, they call it natural language. The natural language basically this actually they do not, they solve very complex problems, and they don't require a programmer to write up any program. They don't require a programmer to write up any program because they actually do not take up simple programs, and they are near to a human being. And these basically examples, they are the ones which are used in today's world, whereby programming has reached to a highest level of implementation, and it has been used in implementation of what you call Internet of Things. And Internet of Things, it composes of so many technologies and so many applications today. The most visible application of Internet of Things is what we have got today: smart houses, smart cars, smart cities. So these actually are more natural languages, and all this particular technology, they are based in what we call machine learning. Machine learning, or ML, machine learning algorithm, they are very powerful today, and there is a lot of research which is going on, and it is implemented by so many people. And machine learning algorithm, they are actually divided into three. One, we are saying supervised learning. Second one is semi-supervised learning. And the third one, it is unsupervised learning. Now, with supervised learning, basically here we are talking about giving up a computer some data, and that particular data can be labeled and classified to learn from it. It learns and actually outputs a particular mathematical function, and that particular mathematical function can be reused when new data is given to that particular machine. And it is very important because today there are so many problems which needs machine learning and automation, and this is a field of what we call AI, which is artificial intelligence. It is a field which has revolutionized our lives now and in future. The second part of it, here we are talking about semi-supervised machine learning algorithm, and in the semi-supervised machine learning algorithm, basically here we are talking about machine learning which are both label and unlabeled, classify and unclassify, and and an algorithm actually learns a particular pattern, and this particular pattern can be used to do prediction and classification. And the last part of it is of a machine learning algorithm, it is unsupervised. And in an unsupervised, basically what you're talking about, it is there is no label, no classification at all, and very big data, and machine learning actually try to learn a particular pattern, and that particular pattern, after it is learned, when given up a new data, it can actually do prediction, it can do classification, and so many other things. So basically, before we started, we had asked ourselves the question, what are the types of high-level programming languages? And we talked about that there are three of them, acronym as 3GL, 4GL, and 5GL. And these makes up the end of this particular session. In our next session, we are going now to introduce one of our 3G languages, that is C programming. So we are going to do what we call introduction to C programming. However, don't forget to subscribe in this particular channel in order for you to get up any new release of our video. Thank you.